a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting. And I am live, I believe. I'm almost positive I am, but that may be like my mistake. So it is, I don't even know what it is. It's actually Thursday, March 11th at about 11:58. But let's just call it noon and go from there. So right, I my whole thing of this is I want to do an afternoon thing. Usually I'm doing them in the evening and it's pretty malproductive because it cuts like into the night and then I'm like off doing a bunch of other things and I'll just put it this way, it cuts into my ADD and causes me to like lose track of things and then I get all out of order about not just this but a number of things. So my decision is like I want to do it early in the day and get it over with and yeah, along those lines. So I want to apologize. Yesterday I started a video outside, which if you've been with me long enough, you'll know most of my videos are on the outside. It is only recently that I started classes and even more recently that I've been like um well, we've all been in the pandemic that have actually been stuck to videos inside. So I was trying to get away from that yesterday and go back into my usual format by doing a quick video on the phone, getting it out there, and I was gonna do a walking tour around City Tech while I was talking, and that might have been cool at the time. But the thing I didn't take effect between City Tech and the courthouses that surround the area, there was a lot of radio interference, which of course interferes with the cell signal. And no more than 15 seconds into the video, it just went and cut off completely. So I wasn't predicting that sort of interference. Um, and it, yeah, no. So that sucked. So that's why it cut out so easily yesterday and why what happened. So my apologies to everyone who's watching. Um, at least one person, thank you, Bernadette, called. They were concerned that the video cut off like that, and I explained to them that it was only due to technical difficulties, and that was why. So thank you again, Bernadette. Um, yeah, so I'd like to reach out to like specifically people who've lost people this week, last week through this week. For those of you who are still like the pandemic doesn't exist and things aren't happening, believe me, they are. Regardless. So my heart goes out to anyone who's lost anyone. Um, over the past few weeks and I truly feel and my condolences and my heartfelt love goes out to you. I just want to be clear on that. So right, it's really an interesting 2 weeks weather wise. Normally we'd be talking about this like it's gonna be warm now, and then on Monday or Tuesday, it's gonna go way back down to 40s and 30s. But we're all quarantined, so we're not getting outdoors, and that sort of sucks. And I realized yesterday when I like, no, yeah, I realized yesterday just what impact that had on me. But yeah, I gotta start working on that myself. So anyway, aside from yesterday's technical difficulties, my original like things still stand. I'm going to try and get back into my original format of videos during the afternoon and mostly outdoor and walking videos. It may take a while, especially given the pandemic, but I don't see why it wouldn't be plausible to some degree. And I think it was good for me, and I think it was also good for people who view this channel, because I think a lot of people who view this channel view it in when the videos are live, and they enjoy um the fact that from their office, from their home office, now I guess it would be, that they can view something outside, or sometimes you view it like, you know, on the middle of a Sunday when you're busy getting ready for the week and you can't run out. So yeah, I think I'll just, regardless, I think I'll just get back to it. So it's definitely coming. um So right, happy International Women's Month, or Women's History Month, actually. So, and oh wait, what's today? It is now Thursday, March 11th. So I should also say Happy Deaf History Month. In 2 more days, on Saturday begins Deaf History and month, and that runs until April 15th. So might want to bone up on that stuff too. There's a lot of talk of women's history, and then like Black history, and I think those are significant discussions that need to be on the, like, not only on but well above the surface, like really elevated. But deaf history shares a lot of or cuts into a lot of disability acti- activism and rights struggles. So I think that is like another like time frame that needs to be discussed, because there's a lot there that isn't often discussed, and often a lot of events that happen with deaf rights are like hand in hand with actual rights of people of color. Like the end of the Emancipation Proclamation is literally a year before Gallaudet University, the first advanced school for deaf and hard of hearing people, is chartered. And both events come from Abraham Lincoln. So there's a significant connection between the two groups. And so I think it's important, um, especially since there's a huge intersectionality, which often isn't discussed, about deaf people of color and what they suffer um, in this oppressive system that we have, this oppressive, ableist, and racist system, and also like the oh god, I'm trying to think what they suffer in as far as inequity and inequality. And also I'm just trying to think of the organized thoughts and words to put into this, because I'm actually doing this on the fly. um I mean, I want to talk about it, but I didn't think I'd get into it like this deep right off the bat. But yeah, there's a lot of inequity and inequality there. There is a lot of profound symmetry um in that group, in similar intersectional groups in both families of being deaf and being of color. Um yeah, it there there's like a really interesting way they bind. Um Not just in the intersectionality, but in the way the struggles parallel. In fact, if you go into a lot of like deaf movements that have made things occur, you'll find a lot of the time they'll give credit to the people of color and their civil rights movement, which preceded it. So they actually like give credit where credit is due. Like, you gave us these tools and that and inspired us. And so there's a lot of that. So it really is like rich, and it's something like if you're into one, you're going to want to learn a lot about the other. Because eugenics and racism, often, you know, people try to say one comes before the other, but I don't think that matters as much as naming, as calling out the way they're intertwined, because they are. And if you go into racism, you'll find a lot of ableism and eugenics in the way it's codified in society and the way it's enacted, and vice versa. Um, Although I'm not sure at that point you'd be able to call it racism, but you'll see the symmetries, and they are there, and they're very much naturally embedded in it. So, yeah, it's definitely something that people should look into, and similarly, um the educational issues, the justifications for doing things to deaf people, like the fact that said hard of hearing and deaf people are extraordinarily at risk for dementia. This like false equivalent of like deafness and intellectual disability, or yeah, I mean, basically that's it. Or deafness and the inability to think and form a thought. It's like very much something that's in modern day medicine. And it's like if you put it right next to it, you can actually see the symmetry between that and how racial medical models also do the same thing to people of color. So yeah, there is a uniform symmetry that's there, and that's why I think it's very significant. If you learn about one, you learn about the other, and the fact that Deaf History Month is coming right at the heels, well, almost. It's like it's still 13 days into the month before it starts, but it's coming practically on the heels of Black History Month is so fitting. I think the two really need to be like that, because when you really see that, and you really see like that also compared to the scope of Women's History Month, which often isn't as relative to the two, but in some ways is. Um, and there's a lot of discussion why that's the case. And it's not to say that they're different in a less or more way, but there are different oppressions to each. And so that discussion becomes complicated. But when you understand the symmetries, you understand the importance in saying that. And it's like, wow. But I think having them all three together like this is gorgeous. Um, I fill up a lot of dead space with that rant. Okay, so I hope I didn't bring down everyone's afternoon. Yeah, it's like 12:11, and I guess I should also mention to some people, although I'm sort of like happy St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I'm so the thing is, it's sort of like we all know St. Patty's Day is what, March 14th, I think it is, something like that. And there, my grandmother was like both born and like buried. Um, yeah, great thought. Right around this time, March 17th to March 19th, two dates. I gotta get those in order so I know which is which. But the important is, yeah, the two occurrences are they're like back to back. And one year I actually, cause often I try and visit her like grave. Now that I'm back to like, you know, I mean, it, it's a thing. Um, but yeah, so I know because one year we went out on, I think it was like the anniversary of her death. And we went out to Albany, and I sort of visited her grave early because of that. So yeah, it is like a significant thing. But yeah, okay. I'm dragging things down again. Sorry. So yeah, to all those who celebrate, happy St. Patrick's Day. What else are we going at? Um, oh, if you saw my post, I guess you know what else is around the corner. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In certain groupings, it's also Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whichever way you put it, I, I, you know, um, yeah, it we need to bring it to the front. I mean, with the conversations happening the way they are, um, now Cuomo's come out with all these allegations now, and it's like, wow. Um, so yeah, it's still a serious issue, and we still have to like bring it to the forefront, and we still have to make it a thing. Um, and of course, women get the majority of this, but don't by any means think it's just limited to women. It's also men and any other genders and gender configurations, and even people who do not believe in gender, which there are quite a lot of them out there, and same difference. So it's still quite a big issue, is my point. And of course, April 26th is Denim Day. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen this year. We are definitely not going to be able to get out for a march or anything. That I'm seeing. So I guess we'll have to like see what happens. But one thing's for sure, whichever it is, I'm going to be involved. I am practically every year I can be, and this year definitely I can, I will, I shall. All right then. Aside from that, what a beautiful week it's been. 50s. Seriously, I missed this. Um, yeah, I would have got back on yesterday immediately, but I had to go for a doctor's appointment, and so I was semi out of commission, and couldn't like exactly just jump on. And also I had to get back home quickly for a meeting or two. So yeah, all those things interfere. But okay, so I'm just getting on, saying hi. Hopefully, this will be a format from now on, and I won't be doing the evening thing, at least not as much. Um, if I do it, it will be early evening, and probably I'm trying to get into this gaming thing. Yeah, I just like haven't selected exactly what, where, and how I want to do it, but it's definitely something to look into. And I've noticed that, a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, but some of you seem to enjoy it. So it's like it'll definitely be something to consider over the long run. and I would really love to like get it underway and make it like a thing from time to time. Um, it would be nice, and then we could like, oh, I don't know. We could like meet from like time to time, and like during the evening would be like kind of nice, and then we'd be able to like have chats and things like that while I was gaming, and even like, I don't know, we could also do like live of like multiplayer games, and maybe like some of you might want to join me. Like I have a game, um last, what is it? Last War Z or something like that. World War C, Last Empire Standing, something. So yeah, that's one. I don't play Among Us much, so if you're looking for that, you may be like hugely disappointed. I have the Xbox store, um, with the Xbox Unlimited. That's basically the way it connects to my Samsung is almost like Netflix would. Um, so yeah, and I can live stream that, and we could play that. Also, I'm going to try and put together a Windows stick computer very shortly. Um, and maybe I could start using with an, I'll see, with an added NVMe drive. I may be able to start using that for gaming, for Series PC gaming at least, which would be kind of interesting. All right, I'm already like at almost 20 minutes. So let me get off. Let me let you get on, and let me know how you're doing. And if you want to, in the comments, either on the here or on Facebook, let me know what like you might want to see like for future edits. And also like, I don't know. I guess I'll start seeing if I could do lives like maybe over the weekend or something, like on the beach, like just walk out of my house and take the long walk I used to out to the boardwalk. God knows I can use one. And then take a long walk on the boardwalk and do the broadcast from there. It would be kind of nice. All right, then. Have yourself a good day. Hope your Thursday is going well, and I will see you at the other end. Ciao.